I'm playing 100 Days of Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. This game was my absolute jam back in the day, and I played it a ton on the Game Boy. I was pretty stoked when they announced this remake, but I didn't pick it up because I don't want to spend full price on a game. You gotta wait for the sales, you know? Anyway, this game is a farming sim. Think Stardew Valley, but not as polished and a lot more clunky. Regardless, I absolutely love this game and have so much nostalgia for it. We're gonna hop right into it, starting with... Before you're actually allowed to play, you have to create your little guy, choose some settings, and watch a bunch of cutscenes. I chose the most generic farmer guy, named him Luca, and set my birthday to Winter 9. I also set the difficulty to simple mode. I'm not playing this game because I want a challenge. I just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy myself, okay? We get sent a letter, and the gist of it is that the mayor of Mineral Town has invited us to move in. I make my way to the farm, and this is where I'm going to be living for the next 100 days. The mayor, Thomas, comes by to greet me. He told me this was my grandpa's old farm, and we used to come visit in the summer all the time. We had nothing but great memories of this place. Not too long later, we get the option to name the farm. I named it Big Money Farm because we get nothing but stacks, baby! Nothing but big money! Mayor Thomas walked away, and tomorrow my new life as a farmer begins. Day 1 of my first day as a farmer begun in my house. I was really excited. I could not wait to plant some shit. When I did leave my house, Mayor Thomas was waiting outside, yapping away about some tutorial. I don't care, man, I know what I'm doing. I politely declined the offer for a more in-depth tutorial, and then I met Zach the shipper. This dude comes to my house every day at 5 PM and takes everything I've put in the shipping bin. After a lengthy explanation, Zach walked off, and I was now free to do whatever I wanted. I finally had freedom, let's go! The first thing I did with my newfound freedom was pick up all the grapes on the ground and get the honey off this tree. I then harvested all the turnips in my field that I got graciously given for choosing the easy difficulty. I chucked everything I just picked up into the shipping bin for a whopping $816. But I'd only get the money when Zach came around at 5 PM. I checked my mailbox and I was already getting stupid advertisements, and then I filled up my watering can and watered the other turnips. Very exciting stuff, I know. As monotonous as it is, I actually really enjoy it. I find it really satisfying. After watering the last turnip, I make my way into town. I want to meet some of the locals. Maybe I can make a new friend. I went into the nearest building, which happened to be a shop, and I met this guy named Gray. He had a cool hat in the original, but anyway, he was hoping I wasn't an Earth weirdo. Thanks so much, Gray. I also met the blacksmith. He's a nice guy. I like him. I left the shop and then continued exploring the town to meet some new people. I met this lady Jennifer, then Potpourri, the goat, then Lilia, and then I met Rick as well. I ran through town a bit and then met even more people. I met a lady named Sasha, she was nice enough. Then I met another lady named Mana who is a certified yapper. She goes on and on, she doesn't shut up. And I also met Old Man Moogie. I continued through the town a bit and entered the health clinic. When inside, I was greeted with a cute little cutscene with the doctor. I really liked the doctor, but the devs really weren't very creative with his name. It's just Doctor. His name is just Doctor. Anyway, he was developing new medicine, and he offered me to try it. Hell yeah, I'm not gonna pass up free untested substances. I chugged it all down in one go, and yeah, it was absolutely disgusting, but it was free, so hey. What can I say? The doctor complimented my adventurous spirit, whatever that means, and then I met Allie the nurse. Allie was best girl back in the day. Everyone knows this, I'm just saying it out loud, okay? I left the clinic and immediately went back inside to get another cutscene. After this, I made my way to the general store. Inside, I met this lady named Anna, her daughter Marie, and another girl named Karen. I talked to Jeff the shopkeeper and bought 9 potato seeds. I made my way back to my farm and planted my newly bought seeds. I watered all my new seeds and then decided to clean up my yard a bit because there's a bunch of sticks and grass everywhere. At 5 PM, the shipper Zach came by and picked up everything I put in the bin, and I kept working on the farm. I did eventually get bored, and then I headed south to do some more exploring. While doing so, I found a bunch of forageables on the ground. I love forageables. Free stuff. Anyway, it was getting late, so I started heading home. I made a pit stop to meet the harvest goddess by throwing a flower in this lake. Then I continued running back to my farm, went into my house, and then went to bed. Day 2 began with me meeting this dude named Huang. He's a traveling merchant who sells unique things. After he finished his spiel, he walked off and I got to watering my plants. This always takes up a big chunk of my morning, but it's like chores, you know, you have to do it. When that was done, I collected all the grapes and honey from the fruit tree. I then headed south to do some foraging. This is a pretty important task, as the things I could find I could give away to make people like me more. Good old bribery for friendship. I threw another flower in this lake as another offering to the harvest goddess, as you get good rewards for doing this consistently. I then met this sweet girl named Ran and said good morning to Potpourri as well. Not too long later, I met another dude in the forest as well, Brandon. And then I got back to foraging. When I had drained the forest of all the natural resources I could collect, I went back to my farm and swapped out my items in the toolbox. I made my way to the mines. I wanted to get some ore so I could start upgrading my equipment. I did find a bit of ore from smacking some stones with my hammer, but after going down some stairs, I found myself getting really tired. I was running out of energy. I eventually left the mine and then decided to chill in the spa so I could get my energy back. It was only midday and I was practically out of energy, so I was willing to spend some time to rejuvenate a bit. Watching my little guy relax in the spa made me real jealous. Just look how chilled out my guy is.
Oh yeah.
At 2 PM, after a couple hours of soaking, I hopped out and said hi to Karen. I made my way over to this little log cabin and I went inside. In the building, I got into a cutscene. I met the owner, Gots, and he explained he's a carpenter and could help renovate my house. He also introduced his roommate, who I've already met, Brandon. After the cutscene, I perused what Gots had on sale. It was a bit out of my price range right now, but it was good to know for later. I soon left the log cabin and made my way into town. I went into the blacksmith, said hi to Cybera, and I wanted to upgrade my watering can. Unfortunately, I could not. Before you can level up your tools, you have to get a certain amount of tool experience. You basically just have to use your tools a bunch before you can upgrade them. I went back to my farm and tilled up some land with my hoe. I wanted to plant some more seeds. While doing so, I got really lucky and dug up a power berry. This is the Stardew Valley equivalent of a star drop. You get more total energy for eating these. After that lucky find, I planted some more potatoes and started watering them. Amid my watering ventures, Zach came by and emptied my shipping bin, and I made a couple $100. I spent the evening cleaning up my farm as there were weeds everywhere. I did this until it was really late, I was running out of energy, and my inventory was full. I went inside and hit the hay. Day 3 began with old man Moogie at my door. He had a baby horse he was asking me to take care of. How could I refuse? I named the horse Giuseppe, the perfect name for a horse. Old man Moogie took Giuseppe to the stable, wished me luck, and then he left. I went to the stable myself, went inside, and said hi to Giuseppe. Welcome to the family, my man! After this, I harvested a bunch of turnips that were ready, and then I got to watering my crops. When that was done, I planted some more potatoes and I watered them too. I started making my way towards the blacksmith as I now had enough XP to upgrade my watering can. I couldn't get inside because I was a tad too early, but after waiting a couple of seconds, I went in. Before I could do anything, I was subjected to a cutscene. Marie came in to thank the blacksmith and then Gray hurt himself. And I'm just standing there awkwardly. Marie tends to Gray's wounds and then walks away. After all that commotion, I hand in my watering can to upgrade it. I have to come back to pick it up in a day. While walking through town, I bump into and meet the police officer Harris. I also say hi to Potpourri as well. I head to the right and find myself at the beach. I go into Zach the shipper's house and get into another cutscene. The end result of this being that I got given a fishing rod. I can now go fishing. Straight away, I walk to the end of the pier and tested out my new rod. I only caught one fish before getting bored and walking away. I took the long run back to my farm and then headed south to do my daily foraging. As usual, I scoured the forest and picked up anything I could get my hands on. I headed to the north and had a bit of a break when I saw this beautiful view. A little bit after this, I made my daily offering to the harvest goddess and said hello. I then made my way back to my farm and did some cleaning until it got dark. When it did get dark, my energy was getting low, so I went home and went to bed. Day 4 was the last day of me using the cinematic boom sound effect, and I will not be doing it again. It was also raining, so I didn't have to water my crops. Hooray! I checked my mailbox and I had a letter from the blacksmith. He was now selling a brush that I could use on my horse. I had to get this. I love Giuseppe. Speaking of whom, I went to the stable to say good morning. What's up, my boy? I then headed south to do my daily foraging. I picked up a bunch of flowers as per usual and made an offering to the harvest goddess. I then had a brief moment of respite in the spa to get my stamina back up. When I was revitalized, I went into the mine to hopefully find some ore. Fortunately, I did get a bunch of ore, but I did get extremely tired doing so. I left the mine and headed straight back into the spa. I kicked back in the spa relaxing for 3 hours straight. My boy must have been so relaxed. After chilling like a villain for half the day, I left the spa and went back to the farm. I didn't have a whole lot to do, so I spent some time cleaning up the place and getting some materials. In the evening, all I did was go fishing. Very therapeutic stuff. The fishing minigame is barely even a minigame at all. You just press a button when you see the exclamation mark. I actually kinda like the simplicity of it. Especially compared to Stardew Valley, the fishing gets so stressful in that game. Anyway, I spent most of the night fishing and caught a bunch of fish. I put them all in the shipping bin before going inside and calling it for the night. Day 5. It wasn't raining today, so I'd have to water my own crops. Unfortunately, my watering can was at the blacksmith and I'd have to wait for it to open. I decided to do my foraging first thing in the morning instead. I picked up a couple flowers and made sure not to forget to do my offering to the harvest goddess. I then went into the mine again as I wanted even more ore. The trip to the mine was a big success. I even found a piece of gold ore right before leaving. As I was extremely tired and literally had 1 energy left, I went into the spa to relax for a bit. After a couple hours of relaxing, I hopped out, said good morning to Ran and Potpourri, and then left. After a bit, I ran into town to pick up my watering can. I went into the blacksmith but had to sit through a cutscene before I could get it. Gray was getting roasted. I gave him some motivation because, I'm a nice guy, and he was thankful for it. After this, my watering can was finished, and the blacksmith dropped it off to my farm. I also bought the brush for my horse, and I handed over my hammer so it could get upgraded. I then left the blacksmith and went back to my farm so I could water my crops. The upgraded watering can made it a lot easier. It cut down the time it'd take exponentially. It was well worth it. After watering, I decided to spend some time cleaning up my farm before tilling up some more land so I could plant even more seeds. I watered these as well before heading south to do even more foraging. I must not have been very thorough when I checked in the morning because I found a ton of flowers. I don't know how, but I missed practically everything. After this, I went back to my farm, dropped off a bunch of stuff, and then spent the night fishing. A therapeutic fishing sesh after a productive day of hard work. The bro's living the dream. After this, I went back home and went to bed. Day 6. Today was another rainy day, so I didn't have to water my crops again. Lucky me. I went into my stable to say hi to Giuseppe, and I used my brush to make more sparkly. I made a pit stop to do some fishing, caught literally 1 fish, and then moved on. I did my usual foraging in the forest and picked up a bunch of things, but I completely forgot to make an offering to the harvest goddess. Whoops. After this, I went into town, went to the blacksmith, and picked up my new upgraded hammer. I then went to the chicken shop to check out the prices for all the chickens. And yeah, I'm kind of broke, so I can't afford anything. Aww. I also said hi to Potpourri while I was here. I went to the other animal store next door as well, and yeah, everything's expensive. I met this kid named May while I was here, and I talked to this cute little puppy as well. I went all the way to the north side of town and entered the church. When inside, I met this guy named Cliff. I also met the priest Carter, but bailed on him because I left my farm on. I then left the church and followed the little path up behind it. In this little shack were the nature sprites. If I befriend these guys, I can get free labor. I talked to these guys allured by the potential of unpaid workers. After this, I stopped by the clinic, and when I went inside, there was another cutscene. This little kid named Yu showed Ellie a bug, and I had to scowl him for it. I had to tell him you can't harass people, and he was upset about it. Me too, bro. While I was here, I said hi to the doctor as well. While in town, I also stopped by the library. When inside, I got another cutscene, this time with Marie. Marie said she was deep in thought, and when I asked what was troubling her, she told me she was writing a novel. After this, I met another guy named Duke who seemed like a nice enough fellow, and then I went back to my farm. With my newly upgraded hammer, I could break these big rocks after a couple of hits. So that's what I spent my afternoon doing. I also spent some time tilling some more ground and planting some more potatoes. I spent my entire evening fishing, just fishing. I didn't stop until it got dark. After this, I hit the hay and ended the day. Day 7. Day 7 marked the 1-week milestone, and I was honestly having a blast. I like this game a lot, it's so much fun. Anyway, I spent the morning watering my plants. Since I'm growing so many things, it kinda took a long time. After this, I went into the forest to go foraging and got into a cutscene with Jennifer. I gotta be honest, I think she might have been the earth weirdo that Gray was talking about. After this strange interaction, I did my foraging, had a quick rest in the spa, and didn't forget to give my offering to the harvest goddess. I did a bunch of work around my farm, clearing a bunch of boulders, and I got really tired. I made my way to the spa again and did some relaxing for the second time of the day. I know my boy has a stress-free life. I then did a little bit of fishing as it was easy money. It was getting late, so I went back home, I chucked all the fish in the shipping bin, and then I hopped into bed and went to sleep. Day 8. Today was the first day I ever checked the TV, and it told me it was gonna rain tomorrow. This is good news for sure. I don't have to water my plants. It wasn't raining today though, so I would have to bust out the old watering can. A few of the potatoes were ready, so I harvested them and planted some new ones. I then got to watering everything I was growing. I also said good morning to my boy Giuseppe and whipped out the old brush on him. While on my way to do some foraging, I got into another cutscene with Jennifer. And what is this girl talking about? I could not tell you. Even my guy was confused. I told her my chakras are totally aligned because I'm a people pleaser, and I continued with my day. I did my usual foraging and then my daily donation to the harvest goddess. I made my way into town and caught one fish in this little forest area. Not too long later, I arrived in the town square and got into a cutscene. These ladies were gossiping about my boy Brandon, and damn bruh, leave my boy alone. Stop talking about the man behind his back. I checked in on him to make sure he was okay, and he walked away. I then went to the beach and did some fishing for a long ass time. Very exciting stuff, I know. About 3 hours later, I called it quits, picked up some grass, and said hi to Karen. I took the extraordinarily long walk all the way home, and then I got to bed just before 10 p.m. Day 9. The forecast did not lie, it was raining, and I didn't have to water my crops. Happy days! Another batch of potatoes were ready to be harvested. I picked them all up and put them in the shipping bin for more big profit. I sowed some more seeds to replace the ones I picked up, and then I said good morning to Giuseppe. I went south to do my foraging, immediately picked up a flower, and gave it to the harvest goddess straight away. I did my foraging and picked up a bunch of flowers. I also gave Gots a bamboo shoot I found, and I think he liked it, but I couldn't really tell. I made my way into town, but got stuck inside Officer Harris. I managed to leave the area, but got stuck in Officer Harris again. I couldn't move. Somebody help me, I can't move. Please! Eventually, I did manage to escape. I think Officer Harris was just trolling me. I eventually made it to town and entered the clinic. I gave both Ellie and the doctor a gift. I then went to the library and gave Marie a gift too. After this, I went to the blacksmith and handed in my axe so it could get upgraded. I went back to my farm, did a bit of fishing, chilled in the hot spring, and then entered the mine. I didn't really find anything good. I actually got really unlucky. I could not find the ladder to the next floor for the life of me. I eventually just gave up, chilled in the hot spring for a couple hours, and then tried again. Unfortunately, I did get unlucky again and I called it quits. I made my way back to my farm, went inside, and then went to bed. Day 10. Today was a sunny day and a bunch of potatoes were ready to be harvested. Midway through the harvest, I stopped what I was doing and said good morning to Giuseppe. I chucked all the potatoes I harvested in the shipping bin, planted some more potatoes, and got to watering. When that was done, I went to do my daily forage. I didn't forget to give the harvest goddess an offering, and I said good morning to Jennifer while I was in the forest too. After all that was done, I ran into town and picked up my upgraded axe from the blacksmith. It happened to be Cyber's birthday as well, and I gave him a bamboo shoot. In return, he gave me the recipe for the winter's sun. A bit later on, I saw Jennifer again in the little forest in town, and I gave her a flower I picked up right next to her. I went to the general store in town, and I dropped $3,000 on a new backpack so I could hold more items. I gave some flowers to Karen, Allie, and the shopkeeper Jeff as well. I hope this bribery for friendship thing works out in my favor. Anyway, I said hi to Cliff in church, and then went to see the harvest sprites to give them gifts. They all loved it. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them loved it. When in the town square, I gave a gift to Mana and she just started yapping. I made my way to the beach, picked up some stuff off the ground, and gave it to Huang. After this, I went back home. I did some fishing, it got dark, and then I went to bed. Day 11. As usual, I spent the morning watering my plants, and I said good morning to Giuseppe. I then went south to do my foraging, said hi to Ran and Potpourri, picked up some flowers, and then made an offering to the harvest goddess. The harvest goddess rewarded me for all my donations. She gave me a power berry. What a good reward.
Hooray!
I then had a break in the hot spring because I was tired from watering all my crops. When I recovered a bit, I went into town and made my way to the little forest area. I used my newly upgraded axe to chop some wood.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
After this, I took a trip to see the nature sprites. I started giving them all gifts as I really want that unpaid work. I took a trip to the only restaurant in town and met the owner, Dudley. I didn't want to buy anything, so I just asked for a water. I went back to my farm, did some fishing in the evening, then went home and went to bed. Day 12. Today it was raining, so I didn't have to water my crops. Big W for me. Instead, I spent the morning chopping weeds and cleaning up my farm. I didn't stop until my guy almost passed out. I went south into the forest, picked up some flowers, made an offering to the harvest goddess, and then rested in the spa for a bit. A couple hours later at 1 PM I left and cut some wood in the forest. I went to my farm and chopped some wood there too. I yet again worked myself to the absolute brink of exhaustion, and I found myself going to the hot spring to rest again. After recovering, I did even more work on my farm, and then I decided to call it a night. Day 13. Today was a sunny day. I said good morning to Giuseppe, harvested some potatoes that were done, planted some new ones, and got to watering. I went south into the forest, did some epic lumberjacking, made a donation to the harvest goddess, and had a rest in the hot spring. After I picked up some flowers, I went into town as it was a festival day and I wanted to see if there was any hubbub going on. There was not. There was no hubbub going on. Everyone was just acting like it was a normal day. Regardless, I went to see the nature sprites and gave them all gifts. One of the nature sprites was ready to help me on the farm. I asked him and he agreed to help me water plants for 7 days. I had my first unpaid worker. Let's go! I was trying to give Cliff a gift and Gots walked in the way and stole it. But I did manage to give Cliff a gift too. I stopped by the little forest in town, cut some wood with my axe, and then went to the beach and did some fishing. I gave Karen a gift because she was standing there and went back to fishing. After a bit, I made my way back home and went to bed. Day 14. Today it was raining, but I told my worker to keep up the good work anyway, and it was actually his birthday as well, so I gave him a gift. I said good morning to my boy Giuseppe and then went into the forest. I cut some wood so I could get some materials, picked up some flowers, and then made my offering to the harvest goddess.
Hello.
After a quick dip in the hot spring, I made my way to Gotz's cabin and purchased my first upgrade for my house. I went to the chicken shop as I wanted to buy my chicken, but it was locked and it's not open on Sundays. No! God! I cut some wood in the forest in town to get some materials instead. I then went to the beach, went inside Zach the shipper's house, and got into a cutscene. Potpourri came in, told me to keep a secret, and told me she was getting a secret gift for her mum. When Potpourri left, I gave a gift to Huang and Zach before leaving the cabin to do some fishing at the beach. I fished until it got really dark, then went home. I did a little bit of work on my farm before going to bed. Day 15. When I woke up, Gots was in my house doing my upgrade. Outside, a bunch of potatoes were done, so I harvested them. I said good morning to Giuseppe, gave a gift to Blueberry for the hard work, planted some new seeds, and helped Blueberry with the watering. I went into the forest, cut some wood, and then I saw this funny monkey while I was picking up some flowers. I didn't forget my daily donation to old mate HG, Harvest Goddess, and then I had a short rest in the spa. A bit later on in town, I went to the chicken shop and said hi to Potpourri, Jennifer, and Lilia. After this, I bought my first chicken. In all the live sim farming games I play, I always come up with a theme for the names of each type of animal, and the theme I chose for chickens were vegetables. I wanted to name my first chicken Pumpernickel, but I could not. I settled for Pumpkin instead. I also bought a bunch of rabbit feed so Pumpkin could eat. I then went to see the nature sprites, handed out some gifts, and could recruit even more unpaid workers.
Yes, free labor! Yeah!
Anyway, I went back home to check on Pumpkin. Just look at my little guy, he's so cute. I had a bit of a rest in the hot spring, and then I did some fishing in HG's lake. After this, I went home and went to bed. Day 16. The Mayor Thomas was waiting outside my house to tell me about some horse racing derby that was going on tomorrow. After he was gone, my gang of unpaid workers came storming in. I harvested some potatoes that were ready and then said good morning to Giuseppe. I went into my coop and Pumpkin already laid an egg. I said good morning to him too. Outside, I rang the bell so Pumpkin could eat. I collected some wood in the forest, gave my offering to HG, and said good morning to Jennifer and Brandon. I finished up my foraging and then made my way to the small forest in town to collect more wood. I got a bit tired doing this, so I headed towards the hot spring. Before I hopped in, I gave a gift to Karen and she loved it. Then I rested in the spa for a bit. I went back to my farm and cut some weeds. After this, I called it a night. Day 17. Today was the day of the horse derby and I was excited. You can gamble your money on horse races. I picked up some potatoes that were ready and left the watering to my boys. I picked up the egg in the coop, said good morning to Pumpkin, and put the egg in the incubator. If I wait 5 days, it'll hatch. I picked up a flower in the forest and donated it to HG. I made my way into town and they had decorations up for the derby. I went to the town square and they had a whole shebang set up. This event is no joke, this is big business. I talked to Mayor Thomas and agreed to bet on a race. I didn't really know how it all worked, so I just put a bunch of money on each horse and a bit more on the horse that was offering the most return. I was rooting for horse number 2 with the jockey wearing the black outfit, but as soon as the race started, I knew he wasn't gonna win. The dude in blue ended up winning the race, and I did get rewarded for him winning, but not as much as I could have gotten. I didn't exactly know the best thing to exchange my medals for, and I ended up getting some adamantite and a diamond. In the second race, I didn't bet nearly as much because I'm trying to save my money and don't want to go broke. The only horse I didn't bet anything on actually ended up winning, which is pretty sad.
No! No!
In the third race, I gambled literally all of my money. I had kind of even spread, so I didn't really care who won. The red horse ended up winning and I got 105 medals. The event was now done and I traded in a majority of my medals for diamonds. I just thought diamonds would get you the most money. This hurts to watch because brooches make you so much more money than diamonds do. After all this, I left the event. I went to my shipping bin to hopefully make big profit from selling the diamonds, and they only sell for $120 each.
No! God, please, no!
I was now almost completely broke, but you gotta learn from your mistakes, okay? After some work on my farm, I went to bed sad. Day 18. Today was another sunny spring day. I let my unpaid workers take care of my crops, and I said good morning to Giuseppe. I picked up the egg in the coop and took care of Pumpkin. In the forest, I said good morning to Ran and Potpourri. I did my foraging, I was feeling kind and gave a flower to Jennifer, and then made my offering to the harvest goddess. In town, I gave the egg I got this morning to Lilia for her birthday! And I gave a flower to Potpourri as well. Outside, I was enamored by this chicken for some reason, and then I went to the little forest in town to cut some wood. I ran through town and went to visit the nature sprites and gave them some gifts. I guess I really was in a good mood today because I gave gifts to Ellie, the doctor, Karen, and Gray. I went into the library and there was a cutscene. Marie and Gray were acting all flirty, and as usual, I was just standing around awkwardly. Okay. After this, I made my way home. I cut a bunch of weeds on my farm and then went fishing. I then called it a day and went to bed. Day 19. In the morning, my house was finished upgrading and I had a sweet new kitchen. I harvested some cabbages outside and put them in the shipping bin for massive profit. This paid off all my gambling debt. I went into the coop, said hi to Pumpkin, and picked up his egg. I then went into the forest to chop some wood. I said good morning to Ran and Potpourri, gathered some flowers in the forest, and made my normal donation to HG. In town, I went into the little forest and gave Jennifer a flower too. I went to the general store and gave a flower to Jeff before buying a bunch of turnip seeds. I'm now kind of realizing I'm the nicest guy in town. I live a very wholesome life. I just pick flowers every morning and then hand them out to the people of the town. What a nice guy. Anyway, I gave a bunch of gifts to the nature sprites to further exploit their kindness, and I got a new unpaid worker. I cut some wood in town before making my way to the mountain and chilling in the hot spring. After this, I did some work on my farm, said hello to Giuseppe because I forgot to in the morning, and then went to sleep. Day 20. I woke up to a message saying I think it's time for a birth. The egg in my chicken coop hatched. There was a cute little baby chick. I named him Squash to keep up the vegetable theme and then continued with my morning. Mayor Thomas was at my door telling me about a cooking exhibition that was on tomorrow, and after he relayed the message, he walked away. I planted some of the turnip seeds that I bought yesterday, harvested some potatoes that were done, and then planted some more seeds. I said good morning to my cute baby chick Squash, and didn't forget to say hello to the OG as well. I cut some wood, and when I went deeper in the forest, I got into a cutscene. As usual, Jennifer was talking some absolute nonsense. Afterwards though, I did actually give Jennifer a gift. I'm afraid she's gonna hurt me if I don't be nice to her. I made my daily offering, and then went to the chicken shop as I was gonna buy a rabbit, but I decided against it. Aww. I went to the blacksmith instead and upgraded my hoe. Hey. I went back to my farm and decided to do some fishing. For 7 hours straight, I was in the zone. I then went to bed because it was getting late. Day 21. It was another sunny spring day and I left my watering to my gang of unpaid workers. I said good morning to Giuseppe and my chickens as well. I collected some wood and then made my offering to HG. I actually got a reward today. The harvest goddess offered a boost in friendship to anyone in the valley. I didn't really know who to choose, but I ended up picking potpourri.
Nice.
I made my way into town and the cooking exhibition was on. I didn't cook anything myself, so I just had to watch. Mana actually won the whole competition, which is quite surprising. I thought she'd be too busy yapping to cook anything good. After the festival, it was already pretty late, so I cut some weeds, went fishing for a bit, and then went to bed. Day 22. Today it was raining, so all my work has got the day off. Lucky bastards, what am I paying you for? I harvested some potatoes that were ready and said good morning to pumpkin and squash. Since it was raining and they couldn't graze outside, I had to give them food. I did all my usual business in the forest, cutting wood, foraging flowers, and donating to HG. I was feeling a bit downtrodden, so I chilled in the spa for a bit, and then I went to the log cabin to see Gots. I bought a fridge. I could now store food items in my house. This was honestly a big upgrade. The fridge is essential. I went to the blacksmith, picked up my newly upgraded copper hoe, and then handed over my sickle so it could get upgraded too. After this, I went to see the nature sprites to rehire Blueberry, and I got Plum on the team as well. I gave a gift to Cliff in the church, and then I gave gifts to Ellie and Doctor in the clinic as well. I went back to my farm, did some fishing, it got dark, and then I went to bed. Day 23. The sun came out and it was a beautiful spring day. I decided to lead by example today and I actually helped out my nature sprites water my plants. I took care of Giuseppe and my chickens too. I then made my way into the forest, gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri, and then made my offering to HG. After foraging, I went into town and went inside the blacksmith. I picked up my upgraded sickle, then went next door to the chicken shop. I decided to splash out and buy an Angora rabbit. The theme I came up with for rabbits was famous rabbits. Not very creative of me, I know. And I named it Bugs, after Bugs Bunny.
What's up, Doc?
I left town and made my way back home. I immediately went to the coop to check on Bugs. He is so cute. I needed to decompress, so I did some fishing, then it got dark, and I went to bed. Day 24. Today was another sunny day, and I harvested a bunch of turnips. They were all ready. Chucking them in the shipping bin got me a good profit. I said good morning to everyone in the coop, and then said hi to Giuseppe as well. I went to the blacksmith as I wanted to buy some clippers, but I was too poor. I cut some wood in the forest instead. I stopped by the nature sprites and gave one a gift. I also recruited him to work on my farm, kinda pointlessly because I didn't have any crops. I went to the general store and got into a cutscene with Karen. She ended up giving me something for free. I gave a gift to Marie in the library and then I left town. I made my way to the forest and did some foraging because I didn't do it in the morning. I made my offering to HG and then chilled in the hot spring. I cut a ton of weeds on my farm and then I cut some fodder I was growing into a pattern. I don't really know if this is efficient or not, or if it even actually does anything at all, but it might do. After this, I went to bed. Day 25. Today was a rainy day. I checked in on my fellas in the coop and gave them some food so they didn't have to go out in the rain. I went to look for some forageables in the forest, but I couldn't find many. I made my offering to HG anyway. Back at the farm, I was a bit confused on what I should do today, and I ended up giving Aqua a gift for his birthday. I made my way to the livestock shop, talked to May who was bored inside, and I bought my first cow. The theme I came up with for the names of my cows were Pokemon moves. I named my first one Bulldoze. Not too long later, I found myself at the beach. I went into Zach's house and gave Huang a gift before buying some pineapple seeds. I left the beach and cut some wood in the little forest in town. I made my way back to my farm, went inside my barn, and said what up to Bulldoze. What up, buddy? I then chilled in the hot spring before doing some work on my farm and going to bed. Day 26. Today was another rainy day. I said hi to my guys in my coop and gave them some food. I said good morning to Giuseppe as well, and Bulldoze. I did my daily foraging and donation to HG. After this, I chilled in the hot spring. When I recovered, I made my way to town. I gave a gift to May and Old Man Moogie, then even more gifts to Zach and Huang. I then decided to go fishing, and spent a majority of the day doing this. Not very exciting stuff, but what can you do? On the way home, I chopped a little bit of wood in the forest, and then went to bed. Day 27. The sun was out today, and I chucked a boot I found while fishing into the shipping bin for big profit. I said good morning to all my guys from the coop, Giuseppe, and Bulldoze. I did a bit of work on my farm, cutting some fodder. It's honestly pretty satisfying stuff. I then cut some wood in the forest. I gave a gift to Jennifer and donated to HG before having a rest in the spa. I gotta be honest, I really didn't do a lot today and spent the rest of it fishing. It got really late, so I went to bed. Day 28. Today it was raining again. This meant I had to feed my animals by hand. Like basically every other day, I cut some wood and did my foraging in the forest before giving an offering to the harvest goddess. I made my way to the blacksmith and bought some clippers. I gave a gift to Gray and Cybera, then went a few houses over and gave a gift to May and Old Man Moogie too. I cut some wood in the little forest in town and then went to the clinic and got a cutscene. The doctor wanted to test some new medicine. Oh yay, untested substances. I chugged it down because I'm brash and irresponsible, and I got dizzy and passed out. The doctor was all apologetic, but I thought it was chill. Hey, it's all good, bro. I gave both Ellie and the doctor a gift for letting me be their guinea pig. I went to the library and got into another cutscene, this time with Marie. She was looking for a book. I found it, gave her a flower, and then made my way back home. I tested out my new clippers on bugs, and what did I do to my boy? After this, I did some fishing until it got dark, and then I called it a night. Day 29. Today was the last day of the season and Zach was at my door. He was inviting me to Fetch Fest, but I didn't have a pet so I couldn't join in. I said good morning to Giuseppe, took care of my fellas in the coop, and said what up to Bulldoze as well. I cut some wood, gave a gift to Brandon, and said hi to Ran and Potpourri. After some more foraging, I gave a gift to Marie and her family. They all loved it. After giving my offering to HG, I went into town and got into a cutscene. There was a character I hadn't seen before, Kai. He seemed like a pretty cool dude. I like him a lot. It's cool that he can take time off streaming to chill out in Mineral Town for a bit. I gave a gift to Sasha in town and she taught me how to make chocolate cookies. Hooray! I also rehired a bunch of the nature sprites as I'd hopefully be planting new seasonal crops. I went to the clinic and gave a gift to Allie and the doctor. The doctor actually gave me a new recipe as well. Thanks, buddy. I went back to my farm and did some fishing until it got dark. I then ended the day and the season. Day 30. Today was the first day of summer, and everything looked a bit different. I took care of all my animals on the farm, and then I did some foraging. There were new forageables because it was a new season. I went to town to go to the general store, but it was closed. No! I cut some wood in the forest instead, and then went to the Fetch Fest at the beach. I talked to Zach and started the show, and I thought I'd get a cutscene or something, but it just ended and wasted a bunch of my time. Bruh. After this, I made my way to the mountain and gave my offering to the harvest goddess because I forgot to do it earlier. I did some fishing and weirdly enjoy this for some reason, then cut some weeds on my farm and went to bed. Day 31. Since it was a new season, I decided to change my outfit. I decided on this yellow jacket. My boy's looking fly. I checked the TV and it weirdly wasn't working and I couldn't even go outside. The wind was too strong. What a scam. I did the only thing I could and went to bed. Day 32. There was no hurricane today, so I could freely go outside. I said good morning to pumpkin, squash, and bugs in the coop. Then I smashed some rocks that were on my farm. I said good morning to Bulldoze as well, and then I went into town. I made my way inside the general store and bought a bunch of seasonal seeds that I've been wanting to get. I said hi to Karen and Rick while I was in town, and then cut some wood nearby. I bumped into Potpourri and got her an egg for her birthday. I made my way back to my farm and started planting all my seeds. I tilled a bunch more land so I could keep planting. Then I helped the nature sprites do some watering, but I got extremely tired. Oh no. I went to the hot spring to relax for a bit and restore my strength. When I left the hot spring, I did a bit of gathering and donated to HG. When I was back on the farm, I tilled some more land, planted some more seeds, and made the biggest mistake of my life. God damn it, I'm still pissed. I watered everything and went to bed. Day 33. The sun was out again today and I said good morning to all my animals. In the forest, I gave a gift to Potpourri and Ran. I did my foraging and then made my usual daily offering to Harvest Goddess. I made my way to the blacksmith and handed over my axe so it could get upgraded again. When I left the blacksmith, I got into a cutscene. I stopped a chicken from escaping and Potpourri thanked me. Then she asked me if I liked chickens. Genuinely, I really do like chickens. I think they're awesome, though the other option is pretty funny. I said yes and Potpourri dropped one of the hardest quotes of all time. After this, I made my way to the nature sprites to recruit some workers again. I then went back to my farm and while checking the calendar, I noticed it was Harris's birthday. I went back to town to search for him. I honestly had no idea where he could be. I even ended up meeting a new villager I hadn't met before. Eventually, while running through town, I did find him and gave him his birthday gift. Happy birthday, buddy. I left town yet again and made my way to the forest so I could chill in the spa. I did a bit of work in the mines to get more XP for my hammer and then I called it a night. Day 34. Today was another typhoon and I couldn't go outside, so I just went to bed. Day 35. When I woke up, Rick was at my door talking about the Cluck Cluck Clash. I sent off Squash to participate in the competition. I said good morning to all my fellas, and then I checked my mailbox and won a prize from HG. This item is really good later on. I did some foraging in the forest, gave a gift to Brandon, and made my usual offering to HG. I then made my way to the blacksmith to pick up my upgraded axe. I did some work on my farm, got roasted by Zach for not putting anything in the shipping bin, and did some more work on the farm. I chilled in the spa for a bit because I got tired, did some fishing, and then called it a night. Day 36. It was another sunny summer's day and the day of the Cluck Cluck Clash. I left my watering to my nature sprites, and then I said good morning to all my guys. I did my usual ransacking of the forest and did a donation to HG. I made my way to the town square for the Cluck Cluck Clash. I talked to Rick and told him I was ready. The first match soon begun. It didn't start out well and Squash was running away, but the tables turned quickly and Squash pushed his opponent further and further towards the edge. Luckily, our opponent stepped out and we won our first match. Hooray! We started the semifinals and it ended the same way. We won again. The third match was the last one. If we won this, we won the championship. Squash started strong and pushed his opponent away. He kept up the momentum the whole way and our opponent stepped out and we won. We done it! We won the Cluck Cluck Clash! My boy Squash pulled through. As a reward, we got an in-game achievement and a trophy we could put in our house. Potpourri was super impressed. Wow. Back at our house, we placed the trophy. I cut some weeds on my farm before going to bed. Day 37. Outside, Potpourri was at my door. She asked me if she could follow me around and watch what I did as a farmer. I said of course and showed her around. After she checked out the farm, she left. And it was now already 1 PM. After losing so much time in the day, I said good morning to all my animals, and then saw a bear in the forest while foraging. I made my donation to the harvest goddess and then did some fishing at my farm. I really didn't do much today, I just fished until it got dark and went to bed. Day 38. When I woke up, this dude named Van was at my door. He was a merchant and he sold things every now and then. After he left, I gave a gift to one of the nature sprites and they taught me a new recipe. I said good morning to all my fellas, placed an egg in the incubator, and cut some wood in the forest. Soon, I got into a cutscene with the doctor. He was talking about his family or something. I don't know, I wasn't really listening. I was thinking about fishing later on tonight. I gave the doctor a gift, I gave Brandon a gift, and then I made my donation to the harvest goddess. After this, I did some fishing. Yeah, again, I guess it wasn't a very eventful day, but it got dark, and then I went to bed. Day 39. It was a sunny day, and a bunch of my onions were ready to be harvested. After I collected them all, I chucked them in the bin for a lot of money. I said good morning to all my guys, and then did some foraging in the forest. I gave a gift to Jennifer, made my donation to the harvest goddess, and then did some fishing. I didn't want to spend my whole day fishing again, so I went to town. I gave Potpourri a gift, said hi to Rick, and then went to the beach. There was nothing here, so I ended up leaving and making my way back home. Back at the farm, I cut some weeds, and then I went to sleep. Day 40. Today I got up and couldn't go outside again because it was too windy. I did the only thing I could and went to bed, ending the day. Day 41. I woke up to an egg hatching. I named the new chick Chickpea. A bunch of tomatoes were ready, so I started harvesting. I chucked them all in the shipping bin and then said good morning to my animals. I needed to rehire all the nature sprites, so I had to water all my crops myself. Not very far into it, I gave up, walked away, and went to town. I went to the blacksmith and bought a milker. I gave a gift to Potpourri and then went into the livestock shop and talked to Old Man Moogie. I bought my first ever sheep. The theme I came up with for the sheeps were Sonic characters. I named my first sheep Tails. After this, I went to see the nature sprites and rehired a bunch of them. I made my donation to the harvest goddess and then did some foraging in the forest. After this, I started watering the rest of the crops on my farm. I got real tired and had a rest in the hot spring, then finished up and went to bed. Day 42. When I woke up, I said good morning to all my animals. I cut some wood in the forest and then gave a gift to Rand and Brandon. I did my usual foraging and offering to the harvest goddess. I then made my way to town and stopped by the blacksmith. I handed in my hammer so it could get upgraded again and cut some more wood. I went to the clinic and got into a cutscene. The doctor ended up giving me a diffuser for some reason, which is cool, I guess. Anyway, I decided to spend my afternoon fishing. I went to the hot spring to relax, then placed the diffuser in my house before going to bed. Day 43. I could now milk bulldoze. Alright, I'm the man of the milk. After saying good morning to my guys, I did my normal routine of cutting wood in the forest, foraging, and donating to the harvest goddess. After this, I did some intense fishing on my farm, then cut some weeds, and rested in the hot spring. I gotta be honest, today was not a very eventful day. After this, I just went to bed. Day 44. Today was another not very eventful day as I couldn't go outside, so I went to bed. Day 45. I spent the morning harvesting a bunch of tomatoes and then I said hi to my animals. I cut some wood in the forest, gave the doctor a gift, did some foraging, and gave Brandon a gift too. After I made my offering to the harvest goddess, I went to the blacksmith and picked up my upgraded hammer. It was Wednesday, so I went to the inn to see Van. I went upstairs and ended up buying a piece of mithril off him. I then started handing out flowers. I gave one to Jennifer, one to Potpourri, and one to Rick. I made my way home, started using my new upgraded hammer, and cut some weeds as well. I got a bit tired, so I rested in the hot spring, then I did a little bit of fishing and went to bed. Day 46. I spent my morning harvesting corn, said good morning to my animals in the barn, and my guys in the coop too. I gave Rand an egg for her birthday, and I gave one to Potpourri as well. I did my foraging and my offering to the harvest goddess. I sold all my corn for big money because I forgot to earlier. I then went to see Old Man Moogie and I bought an alpaca. The theme I came up with for alpacas was edible minerals, and I named my alpaca Zinc. I gave a gift to Jennifer in the forest and spent some time breaking some rocks on my farm. I did some fishing until it got dark and then I went to bed. Day 47. Today it was raining for the first time in a while. I said good morning to all my animals, including my new man Zinc. I had to feed everyone by hand because I didn't want anyone outside in the rain. I used a bunch of energy breaking a rock, did my foraging, donated to HG, and then chilled in the spa. In town, I went to see Old Man Moogie again, and I bought a cow breeding kit. I then gave him a grape, and he taught me how to make ice cream. I gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia before heading home. I spent a bunch of time cutting a bunch of fodder, got really tired, so I chilled in the hot spring, and then I called it a night. Day 48. This morning, Old Man Moogie was talking about a cow festival coming up, and I couldn't compete because my cow was pregnant. This literally happened yesterday. What are the odds? Anyway, I harvested a bunch of tomatoes that were ready and said good morning to all my animals. I gave a gift to Brandon in the forest, did my foraging, and then made my offering to the harvest goddess. I gave a gift to Jennifer in town and also gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia. Not too long after this, I bought an alpaca breeding kit. I made my way to the beach and got into a cutscene. Kai and Rick were arguing. Rick hates Kai. Afterwards, I gave a gift to Huang and then did some fishing. I made my way back to the farm and cut some fodder. I tried to use the alpaca breeding kit, but it didn't work. After this, I just went to bed. Day 49. I spent the morning picking some more corn that was ready, and then I said good morning to my animals. I have to feed Bulldoze by hand because she is pregnant. I did my foraging, made a donation to HG, and then rested in the spa. I went to town to go to the Moo Moo Festival. Since I wasn't competing when I started it up, I just had to watch Old Man Moogie look at a bunch of cows. Back at my farm after the festival, I watered my crops. I needed to rehire the nature sprites, so I had to do the watering myself. I then hit the hay and went to bed. Day 50. Today was a sunny day and I said good morning to all my animals as usual. I gave an egg to Rand, I gave an egg to Potpourri, and then I made my offering to HG. I cut a bunch of wood in the forest and then went to see the nature sprites so I could recruit them again. I made my way to the forest, chilled in the hot spring because I was tired, and then broke some big rocks before going to bed. Day 51. I spent the morning taking care of my animals and then gave a gift to Brandon, Rand, and Potpourri. I made my offering to the harvest goddess and then broke some rocks in the forest because I needed more stone for further upgrades. I got a bit tired doing this, so I walked away to do something else. I went to the blacksmith and handed in my fishing rod so it could get upgraded. I made my way inside Old Man Moogie's store and I bought a sheep breeding kit. I gave a gift to Jennifer while I was here and then I went to the beach. I gave Kai a gift for his birthday. After this, I went to the forest. I chilled in the spa because I was extremely tired and then broke some rocks before going to bed. Day 52. I spent a big chunk of the morning harvesting a ton of tomatoes and said good morning to my animals. I handed out gifts to Rand, Potpourri, and Brandon in the forest. I then gathered some stone, did a bunch of foraging, and made my offering to the harvest goddess. I went to the inn to see Van because it was Wednesday and I thought he'd be selling different things, but he wasn't. I broke some more stones, gave a gift to Jennifer, and then chilled in the hot spring because I was tired. I cut a bunch of fodder on my farm before going to bed. Day 53. I started the day harvesting a bunch of crops that were ready. Putting them in the shipping bin was gonna make me a ton of money when Zach picked everything up. I took care of all my animals, including pregnant bulldogs, and then cut some wood in the forest. I made my usual daily offering to the harvest goddess, did some foraging, and then used all my energy breaking a rock and had a rest in the spa. After this, I went into town, broke even more rocks, and then went to the beach for the fireworks festival. I sat back and watched the fireworks fly. When the fireworks were over, the day ended. Day 54. Today it was raining. I looked after all my animals and gave them food too so they didn't have to go outside in the rain. I made my way into the forest, cut a bunch of wood, broke a bunch of stones, did some foraging, and then had a rest in the spa. I went to the blacksmith and picked up my upgraded fishing rod before handing over my watering can so it could get upgraded too. I then started gift giving. I gave one to Potpourri, one to Ran in the inn, one to Marie and Gray in the library, and one to Allie and the doctor in the clinic. I left town, made my offering to the harvest goddess because I forgot to earlier, and had another rest in the spa. After this, I went back to my farm, did some fishing with my newly upgraded fishing rod, and then went to bed. Day 55. Today was a short one as I couldn't go outside because of a stupid typhoon. I just went to bed instead. Day 56. Today it was raining, but a bunch of my crops were ready. I picked up a bunch of tomatoes and a bunch of corn. Putting them in the shipping bin is gonna make me a ton of money. I said good morning to all my animals, broke some rocks in the forest, and did my foraging. I had a nice little rest in the spa and then made my donation to the harvest goddess. I went to Gotz's cabin, but couldn't get in because it was locked for some reason. I went to the blacksmith to pick up my watering can instead. I went to Old Man Moogie's house and handed out flowers to May and Old Man Moogie himself. After this, I went back home as every building I tried to go into was locked. Back on my farm, I cut a bunch of weeds until it got really dark, and then I went to bed. Day 57. I said good morning to Giuseppe and all my other animals before making my donation to the harvest goddess. Immediately after this, I gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri. I broke some stones and gave a gift to Brandon, and also gave a gift to Marie and her family. I gave a gift to Jennifer as well and went into Gotz's cabin. I ended up buying the coop upgrade and 2 more fruit trees for my farm. These fruit trees are a must buy. I should have got them earlier. I made my way into town and went to the general store. I bought the big backpack and a bunch of cooking equipment. I gave a gift to Allie and the doctor in the clinic, and then hit some more rocks in the little forest in town. I had a rest in the hot spring because I was feeling a bit tired, and then I spent my afternoon doing some peaceful fishing, after which I went to bed. Day 58. Today there were some pineapples ready and I harvested them all. I collected fruit from my new trees and then I said good morning to my animals. I gave a gift to Brandon before finding the jackpot of green grass while foraging in the forest. I broke some stones to gather some materials and then I made my offering to the harvest goddess. I gave a gift to Potpourri and then broke some more stones in town. After this I had a rest in the spa because I was tired and then did some work on my farm before going to bed. Day 59. Today was the last day of summer. I took care of all my animals and said good morning to Gotz who was still working on the coop. In the forest, I gave a gift to Potpourri, Ran, and the doctor. After some foraging, I broke some rocks and then gave a gift to Brandon and Jennifer too. I made my offering to the harvest goddess and cut some wood in the forest before making my way to the beach. I gave a gift to Huang and then bought some green pepper seeds for next season. I also said goodbye to Kai who leaves once summer is over. I made my way back to my farm and chilled in the hot spring so I could recover my energy. Afterwards, I went into the mine to try and find some gold. I smacked a bunch of rocks, but ultimately could not find any, so I left. I had another rest in the hot spring before making my way home and going to bed. Day 60. Today was the first day of fall and there are a bunch of dead crops everywhere. I changed my outfit to something more seasonal and then I started cutting the leftover dead crops. About halfway through, I got distracted and decided to say good morning to my animals instead. After I'd said good morning to everyone, I finished up my cutting job outside. I planted all the green pepper seeds I bought yesterday. And for some reason, I had to water them, even though it's raining? What a scam! Anyway, when I was done, I went to town and went into the general store. I bought a bunch of different seasonal seeds. I then went to see the nature sprites and hired a bunch of them to do my watering for me. I went to the beach and gave a gift to Huang and Zach. Zach actually taught me a recipe in return. I made my way out of town, chilled in the hot spring to recover some energy, and made an extra late offering to the harvest goddess. I planted all the seeds I bought in the dark, watered them all, and then I went to bed. Day 61. When I woke up, the priest Carter was at my door. He was asking me to participate in a concert at church tomorrow. I don't exactly know how to play any instruments, but I agreed anyway. He said I was going to be playing the ocarina. Let me get my practice in real quick. Yeah, I can do it, I'm good. Anyway, I left the watering to my nature sprites, chucked an egg in the incubator, and then said good morning to my animals. I made a few more crop plots as I didn't quite finish planting everything yesterday, and I planted what I had left over now. I am gonna be so rich when everything's ready. When everything was planted, I went into the forest. I made my donation to HG, and then chilled in the hot spring because my energy was getting really low. I did my foraging and there were new forageables because it was a new season. I cut a bunch of wood in the dark and then ended the day. Day 62. It was another sunny day and I said good morning to all my animals. In the forest, I collected a bunch of stone and then did my foraging. I threw one of the flowers I foraged into the lake as an offering to the harvest goddess. I then cut some wood in the forest before cutting some weeds on my farm. I went to the hot spring to recover some energy and then I went to town. I broke a couple of rocks before going to church for the concert. When I was inside, I talked to the pastor Carter and told him I was ready to play. I gotta be honest, I killed it. I just killed it. Look at me go. Soon the concert was over and the day ended. Day 63. I said good morning to all my animals as usual, and then I made my way to the forest so I could hand out a gift or two, make my offering to the harvest goddess, do some foraging, and collect some stone. After all this, I made my way to town. I gave a gift to Lilia, Rick, and Jennifer before collecting even more stones. I ran into Potpourri and gave her an egg before going to the beach and giving gifts to Huang and Zach. While I was here, I bought a ball. This item is pretty cool. I did end up losing it straight away by throwing it into the mayor. Aww. I made my way out of town, went into the forest, and then had a rest in the spa. I did some fishing in the evening before cutting some weeds and going to bed. Day 64. Today, the egg I put in the incubator hatched, and I named it Lettuce. I took care of all my animals and then gave an egg to Potpourri in the forest. I collected some stone and then gave a gift to Brandon, Marie, and her entire family. I took a break in the hot spring to recover some energy and then I went back home to take out some gold. When I left my house again, I got into a cutscene. Jeff took me to his store and I ended up talking to him and Basil about some flower. The nature sprites were also here for some reason and they ended up willing the flower into existence. I showed the flower to Basil and Jeff and they were dumbfounded. Bruh. I handed them one each and then continued with my day. I went to the blacksmith and handed in my hammer so it could get upgraded. Afterwards, I gave Rick an egg as a gift, cut some wood, and then went back home. I did a bit of fishing until it got dark and then I went to bed. Day 65. Today was a sunny day, and in the morning I took care of my animals. I gave an egg to Ran and Potpourri in the forest, did some foraging, and gave a gift to Brandon as well. I made my daily offering to the harvest goddess and then went to the blacksmith to pick up my upgraded hammer. The hammer was still too pathetic to break all the types of rocks on my farm, so I decided to cut some weeds instead. I spent some time breaking a smaller rock in the little forest in town, and then I went to the beach to give Huang and Zach a gift. I did some fishing while I was here, and then when it got dark, I made my way home and ended the day. Day 66. I spent the morning harvesting some yams, and then I said good morning to my animals. Bulldoze was only a couple of days away from giving birth. I walked into the forest and got into a cutscene. Jennifer was talking about how the lake doesn't have a name, and she ended up naming it Isabella. After she walked away, I went about my business. I collected some stones, did some foraging, and made my donation to the harvest goddess. After this, I chilled in the spa to recover a bit. I made my way into town, gave a gift to Lilia, Rick, and Potpourri. Potpourri was now at the green heart level. I collected some more stones, then went to the beach. I ended up giving Karen a gift because she was here, and then I did some fishing. It was getting real late, so I went home and then went to sleep. Day 67. When I woke up, Thomas was at my door talking about the harvest festival tomorrow. After he relayed the message, he walked off and I got to harvesting some green peppers and some carrots that were ready on my farm. I planted the remaining seeds I had and then said good morning to my animals. In the forest, I made my donation to the harvest goddess, did some foraging, and collected some stones. In town, I went to the chicken shop and ended up buying a rabbit breeding kit. I gave a gift to Lilia and Potpourri while I was here, and then cut some wood in the little forest in town. By the time I got home, it was already pretty late. I gave a gift to Zach and then I rested in the spa. After this, I cut some wood in the dark and then went to bed. Day 68. Today I needed to rehire the nature sprites as there was no way I was going to be watering all of my crops myself. I took care of all of my animals and then I used a rabbit breeding kit on bugs. I did a bit of foraging in the forest before making my donation to the harvest goddess. I then made my way into town and went to see the nature sprites. After hiring a bunch of them, I went to the town square to the harvest festival. I talked to Thomas and contributed an orange to the pot, and then I chowed down. I refused to believe all these ingredients would taste good together. Anyway, the festival ended. Back at my farm, I made my way into the forest, cut some wood, and then rested in the spa before going to bed. Day 69. This morning, Bulldoze gave birth. I named my new baby cow Thunder to keep up the theme of Pokemon moves. I said good morning and took care of all my guys and made sure to feed bugs by hand as they were pregnant. I gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri in the forest before making my donation to the harvest goddess. I did my usual breaking rocks and foraging in the forest and gave Brandon a gift. I went back to my house to drop off some stuff I was holding, and when I went back outside, I got into a cutscene with Jeff. He ended up giving me a preserved flower. With this, I could ask someone to be my girlfriend or boyfriend. Jeff soon walked away and I chucked the preserved flower in my toolbox as I didn't want to use it just yet. I made my way into town, broke some stones to collect some materials, and then went to the beach to give a gift to Huang and Zach. I then left town because there was nothing more for me to do. I cut some weeds on my farm but got really tired. So I went to have a rest in the hot spring. Back at the farm, I cut a bunch of fodder before going to sleep. Day 70. When I woke up, Huang was at my door and he was trying to sell me a vase. I did not want to buy it because it was $5,000. When he was gone, I harvested a bunch of green peppers, eggplants, and yams. I took care of all my animals and then used an alpaca breeding kit on Zinc. I tried to use a sheep breeding kit on Tails as well, but you can only have one animal pregnant at a time. It was already pretty late because it took so long to harvest all my crops, but I went to the forest anyway. I went inside the log cabin to see Gots, and I ended up buying the barn upgrade. I cut some wood because I was running low, and then I went to town. I gave a gift to Rick and Brandon, and then checked out some new upgrades I could get at the blacksmith. And goddamn are these expensive! I gave Potpourri an egg as a gift, and then made my way back to my farm. I had a rest in the hot spring, and then had a very unsuccessful attempt at fishing before going to bed. Day 71. Today was not a very eventful day. I started by saying good morning to all my animals, and then cut some wood and broke some rocks in the forest. I did some foraging, chilled in the spa, and then made my donation to the harvest goddess. I broke some more stones in town and then gave a gift to Jeff. I gave another gift to Dudley and he taught me how to make fondue. I also gave a gift to Ran, Gray, and Cliff. After this, I did some fishing in the forest in town for a change and then made my way home and went to bed. Day 72. Today was the day of the Moonlight Night Festival, and I spent my morning picking up green peppers and beans. After I chucked everything I picked up into the shipping bin, I checked on my animals. In the forest, I cut some wood, broke some stones, and did my foraging. I then made my offering to the harvest goddess before breaking another rock and going down a secret path. At the end of which, I found a rare mushroom and broke another rock. After this, I recovered a bunch of energy in the spa and then went to Mother Hill. Potpourri was the only one there, and yeah, this is a strange festival. Just 2 people for a festival? A bit weird, but I said I'd join her anyway and we watched the night sky. Very exciting stuff, I know. Potpourri occasionally broke the awkward silence with a random remark about the moon. Not too long later, the night ended. Day 73. This morning there was another birth. Bugs gave birth to a baby rabbit who I named Lola. I gave a birthday gift to one of the nature sprites as a thank you for all the free labor, then I harvested a bunch of crops that were ready. I said good morning to all my guys and went into the forest. I gave a gift to Brandon before doing some foraging and making my offering to the harvest goddess. I then cut some wood and went to town. I went to the chicken shop and gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia, then went to the inn and gave a gift to Ran and Dudley. Outside I gave a gift to Harris, collected some more stone and wood, and then rested in the spa. It got a bit late, so I made my way home and ended the day. Day 74. I woke up and immediately started harvesting green peppers and harvested some chilies that were ready too. I said good morning to my animals and then went to town. I gave a gift to Potpourri and then made my way to the town square. Van had a stand set up in the square and I ended up buying a dog. I named the mineral dog Pooch. I'm 74 days in and only now do I finally have a dog. After this, I made my way to the little forest in town to collect some wood and some stones. I went back home and said hi to my new little guy. Look how cute he is. I went into the forest, did my foraging and broke some rocks because I forgot to earlier, and then chilled in the spa. A bit later on the farm, I cut a bunch of weeds before going to bed. Day 75. Today it was raining. I took care of all my animals and gave them all food because they couldn't go outside. I broke some stones, did some foraging and made my donation to the harvest goddess. Afterwards, I broke yet even more stones and I accidentally made a second offering to the harvest goddess. I made my way into town and gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia before going to the livestock shop. I spent all my money buying a coffee cow and I named it Eruption. After this, I went to the beach to give Wang and Zach a gift and then made my way to the little forest in town to collect some more stone. I had a rest in the hot spring because my boy was tired, and then I cut some weeds on the farm before going to bed. Day 76. In the morning, Thomas was at my door talking about another horse racing competition, and I was very tempted to gamble again. Thomas ended up walking away, and just because I lost a ton of money last time doesn't mean I'm going to lose a bunch of money this time. I checked my mailbox and won another raffle from the Harvest Goddess. Let's go! I said hello to my new man Pooch and I played ball with him. I said hello to all my animals and then started harvesting. It was 8 AM when I started and 2 PM when I finished. This took ages. But it was worth it because I made bank! I went to town, gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia before making my way to the harvest sprites and getting some free labor again. I went into the little forest in town to break some stones and then made my way back home and went to the actual forest. I made my donation to the harvest goddess, broke even more stones, and then did some foraging. I even found the rare mushroom again. I chilled a bit in the spa before walking home and going to bed. Day 77. Today was the day of the horse racing event and I was excited! I said good morning to all my animals as usual and then I made my way into the forest, did some foraging, and made my offering to the harvest goddess. I collected myself some stone and some wood before going to town. I went to the town square to the festival. I talked to Thomas so I could bet on the races and lose all of my hard-earned money. I didn't bet much on the first race because the return wasn't that good and the favorite ended up winning anyway, so it didn't really matter. In the second race, I put a few $1,000s down and then I started the race. I wasn't really rooting for any horse in particular, and when it ended, I got a few hundred medals. In the final race though, I literally bet all of my money. I needed Blue to win this race. The race soon begun and I was scared, man. Go Blue! Go Blue! Blue was pulling ahead, but it was close. Luckily, Blue won the race. Let's go. I got a ton of medals for my winning bet, and I ended up spending them all on 39 brooches. Back at the farm, I chucked them all in the shipping bin for $84,000. We're rich! We're rich! We did it! We're rich! Yes! I went to bed happy after the big win. Day 78. I spent my morning taking care of my animals as usual, and then I went into the forest. I cut some wood, gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri, and made my donation to the harvest goddess. Afterwards, I broke some stone, did some foraging, and gave a gift to Jennifer. I broke even more stones before having a rest in the spa. When I hopped out the spa, I gave a gift to Old Man Moogie and May. Back at the farm, when Zach was collecting from my shipping bin, I got an achievement for earning a ton of money. I celebrated a bit before doing some more work around the farm and going to bed. Day 79. Today I woke up to Old Man Moogie at my door telling me about the Fluffy Festival. I couldn't compete because my sheep was currently sheared. I said good morning to my guys in the coop before harvesting some green peppers. I said hi to my guys in the barn as well before admiring Gotz's work. The upgrade in the barn was finished. I went to the forest, broke some stones, did some foraging, and made my offering to the harvest goddess. I made my way into town to do some shopping because I had cash to spare. I bought some food for the coop, and then I bought a strawberry cow who I named Cybeam. I bought a fruit cow as well and named him Revenge. Afterwards, I tried to go into the general store, but it was closed, and then I went to the blacksmith instead and dropped $20,000 on a mayonnaise maker. I left town and went back to my farm to check on my new cows, Revenge and Cybeam. Then I went to the forest to break some more rocks. I had a rest in the hot spring before going back to my farm and collecting some fodder. I figured I needed to collect all of this before the season ended because nothing grows in winter. After cutting a bunch, I went to bed. Day 80. I said good morning to Pooch and Giuseppe before harvesting a bunch of crops. It took me till 11 AM to pick everything. I said good morning to my animals and then I went to the forest. I cut some wood and picked some flowers before making my offering to the harvest goddess. Afterwards, I broke some stones and got a bit tired, so I had a rest in the hot spring. When I got out, it was already 8 PM. I had a bit of time to cut some fodder and then I went to sleep. Day 81. Today it was raining and I picked some crops that were ready. I took care of all my animals and made sure to feed them as they couldn't go outside. I went to the forest, broke some stones, and then went to Gotz's log cabin. I bought a TV, a clock, and some more fruit trees. I cut some wood outside because I still needed more for my next upgrade on my house, and then I did some foraging and made my donation to the harvest goddess. After this, I went to town, cut some more wood, and then left town straight away because there was nothing else to do here. I chucked all the branches I'd found since I started on the ground, and then I cut them all to turn them into materials. I had a big rest in the spa before ending the day. Day 82. In the morning, I took care of all my animals and then went to the forest. I cut a bunch of wood and then made my donation to the harvest goddess. While in the forest, I gave a gift to Ran, Potpourri, and Brandon. I did some foraging, broke some wood, and gave a gift to Jennifer too. I went inside Gotz's log cabin and got into a cutscene with Brandon. He asked for some inspiration and I told him to make something more feline. He thanked me and then I went into the log cabin again and got into another cutscene with Brandon. He ended up giving me a statue and then I talked to Gotz. After buying some wood, I purchased the final upgrade for my house. I had a bit of a rest in the hot spring, then went to town. I arrived at the beach, did a little bit of fishing, then went back home. I placed the statue Brandon gave me in my house before going to bed. Day 83. Like many other days, I spent the morning taking care of my animals. I harvested crops until almost midday and then made my offering to the harvest goddess. I broke some stones and did some foraging. After breaking even more stones, I was pretty tired, so I had a rest in the hot spring. I accidentally made another donation to the harvest goddess as I have terrible memory, and then I cut some wood in the forest, cut some fodder on my farm, and then went to bed. Day 84. Today I woke up to this random guy at my door. His name is Lou and I don't know what it is about him, but he looks like he shouldn't even belong in this game. He looks so out of place. Anyway, after he left, I took care of all my animals and gave a sheep breeding kit to Tails, who got pregnant. I made my way into the forest, gave a gift to Ran, broke some stones, picked up some flowers, and made my donation to the harvest goddess. I made my way into town, went into church, and got into a cutscene with Potpourri. I agreed to play with these guys, and Potpourri was happy about it. In the forest, we were all playing house, and I gotta be honest, this was kinda weird. The kids ran off, and Potpourri thanked me for playing by giving me a gift. I made my way into town again and went to see the nature sprites. I needed to rehire them. While in town, I gave a gift to Lilia, who taught me how to make, tamagoyaki? I don't know how to pronounce this. Anyway, I went to the clinic and got into another cutscene. Jeff came running in pain. While treating Jeff, Allie accidentally made a mistake. I told her it's okay to make mistakes and then went about my day. I went to the blacksmith and dropped another $20,000, on a cheese maker this time. I went to my coop and the mayonnaise machine was ready. It can turn eggs into mayonnaise. I went to the forest and chilled in the spa. I then broke some rocks and cut some fodder before going to bed. Day 85. Today it was raining. I said good morning to my animals and gave them some food. I went to the forest, broke some stones, picked up some flowers, and made my offering to good old HG. After I broke even more rocks, I had a recovery session in the hot spring. I went to town, gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia, then went to the beach and gave a gift to Huang and Zach. I found myself in the clinic and in another cutscene. When it was over, I left and went next door to the general store. I bought all the cooking equipment I could. After this, I gave a gift to Dudley in the inn, and I gave a gift to Duke as well. I made my way back to my farm and cut some fodder. I then had a spa in the dark before going to bed. Day 86. I said good morning to my animals and then made my donation to the harvest goddess. I gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri, broke a stone, and then gave a gift to Brandon. I did my foraging and then went to see Gotz. I bought a big bed for $10,000. I went back to my house to check out the big bed and I don't really like that it's placed right next to the small bed. Why is it like this? I don't like this. Anyway, I harvested some crops until it got pretty late and then I cut some fodder on the farm. I tried going to bed in the big bed, but you can't even sleep in it. Why did I buy this? What a waste of money. I went to sleep in my normal bed, pissed off because I got scammed. Day 87. I spent the morning harvesting crops in the rain, said good morning to my animals, and made sure to feed them. In the forest, I cut a bit of wood and then bought a $5,000 rope. I did a little foraging, then made an offering to the harvest goddess before having a rest in the spa. After this, I made my way into town, gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia, then gave a gift to Huang and Zach. I broke some stones and cut some wood in the forest before making my way back to the farm. I cut a little bit of fodder before realizing I was tired, had another rest in the spa, then cut even more fodder before going to bed. Day 88. I said good morning to my animals and could now milk my other types of cows. I gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri before doing some foraging and making my offering to the harvest goddess. I went to town and when going into the chicken shop, got into a cutscene. Rick was complaining about their dad who left and Potpourri was trying to defend him. I sided with Potpourri because, I like Potpourri. Anyway, I went to the beach and when I went into Zach's house, I got into another cutscene. Karen walked into the building and Huang was enamored. I gotta be honest, this cutscene made me not like Huang very much. I hate dudes like this in real life who switch up on you as soon as there's a girl. Man, it's so annoying. What the heck, Huang?
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
I gave Huang and Zach a gift anyway, then made my way home. I cut a bunch of fodder on the farm, had a rest because I got tired, and then finished cutting all the fodder on the farm. I then ended the day. Day 89. Today was the last day of the season. It'd be winter tomorrow. I said good morning to my animals and then went to the forest. I gave a gift to Ran, broke some rocks, and then gave a gift to Brandon. I did my foraging in the forest as well and gave a gift to the harvest goddess. I made my way into town as I thought there was a festival on today, but when I went to the town square, there was nothing going on.
Huh?
I checked the mailbox and the general store was now selling a power berry. I needed to get this. I also won another raffle from the harvest goddess. I made my way to the general store and dropped $10,000 on the power berry. I interacted with a statue by the church and ended up finding a truth jewel. It's pretty cool, but kind of a random find. I collected some more stones and then went back to the town square to check if the festival was on. It still was not. I made my way back home and made some ice cream. While making it, I somehow learned how to make a boiled egg. After this, I went to bed. Day 90. It was the start of the new season, so I changed my outfit to something more festive. I decided on this reindeer costume. Outside it was snowing. I said good morning to all my animals and then gave them all food because I didn't want them outside in the cold. I made my way to the forest and made my donation to the harvest goddess. I went foraging, but there really wasn't much to find. I broke some rocks instead, and then I checked out the new mine I could reach across the lake. I'll definitely have to come back here later and check this out properly. I went to town, gave a gift to Potpourri and Lilia, and then made my way to the general store. When inside, I got into a cutscene. They were arguing about which flowers to send in a gift. I just chose the option Karen wanted because I like Karen more than Sasha. While in town, I gave a gift to Alan and broke some stones. After this, I rested in the spa to recover some energy. I made my way to the Winter Lake mine and did some mining. I was finding some cool new things. I got extraordinarily tired, so I left, but I did find a lot of things. I had another big rest in the spa and went to bed. Day 91. In the morning, there was a birth. Zinc gave birth to a baby alpaca, which I named Calcium. Alright. I took care of all of my animals in the morning and made sure to feed them too. I went to the forest, gave a gift to Ran, and made sure to make an offering to the harvest goddess. I then made my way to town, went to the blacksmith, and handed in my copper sickle to get it upgraded. I gave a gift to Jennifer in town for her birthday, and then went to the beach to give a gift to Huang and Zach. I left town, had a quick rest in the spa, and then went into the mines to look for gold. I broke a ton of rocks searching for the gold, and after a while, I did manage to find a piece. I left the mine and had another rest in the spa. When I recovered all of my energy, I went straight back in to look for more gold. Unfortunately, I completely ran out of energy without finding any more, so I left again and had another rest in the spa. I did a bit of fishing before making my way home and going to bed. Day 92. I spent the morning saying hi to my animals and then made my donation to the harvest goddess. I then had a rest in the spa as I was still tired from yesterday. I went to town, gave Potpourri a gift, and went to the beach to see Huang and Zach, but the shop was closed. Aww. I went all the way back to the chicken shop and ended up buying a rabbit breeding kit. I then went to the blacksmith to pick up my upgraded sickle. I also handed over my axe so it could get upgraded too. Back at the beach, I went into Zach's house. When inside, Huang told me I could now sell things. This was good news. I ran all the way back home to pick up some stuff to sell. I picked up my winnings from the Harvest Goddess's raffles and the statue I won for winning the chicken competition way back when. I also quickly used the rabbit breeding kit on Lola to get her pregnant before running all the way back to see Huang. When I got to the town square, I unfortunately got into a cutscene with Cliff where he fainted.
Oh no.
I took him to the hospital and everything was okay, but when I went outside, it was 4 p.m. I went to Zach's shop at the beach and it was now closed.
Bruh.
I took myself back home yet again, did some fishing, and went to bed. Day 93. I woke up to Huang at my door selling me 3 unique apples. The first was the Super Ultra Great Delicious Wonderful Apple. The second was called the Hyper Miracle Sweet Gorgeous Beautiful Apple. And the third was the Angel Eternal Pure Fresh Elegant Apple. I bought the Super Ultra Great Delicious Wonderful Apple and then Huang left. I went to say hi to Giuseppe and he was now fully grown up. I can now ride him. This is awesome. It's gonna make everything so much more convenient. I said good morning to all my other animals before going to the forest on Giuseppe. I gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri before making my donation to the Harvest Goddess. I took Giuseppe to Mother Hill to show him a nice view. This is what you've been missing out on, Giuseppe, just chilling at the farm all day. You gotta get out more, buddy. I gave a gift to Jennifer and then made my way to the beach. I went inside Zach's house and got into a cutscene. Huang dropped a bunch of apples and mixed them all up. Man, this guy's a scumbag. He bribed me with a Super Ultra Great Delicious Wonderful Apple to be quiet. I went back inside to sell my things. Each Van's favorite I had sold for $51,000. And the Cluck Cluck Clash trophy sold for $54,000. I'm rich! We're rich again, baby! Yes! And just like that, I was thrust into a wealthy lifestyle yet again. I went to Gotz's cabin and went inside, got into a cutscene. I ended up cleaning up for Brandon because he was too focused on his work. After the cutscene, I left and did some fishing on my farm. Even though I'm filthy rich, I still want to live a humble lifestyle. After fishing for a bit, I went to bed. Day 94. Today, Old Man Moogie was at my door. He wanted to check on Giuseppe because he had all grown up. Old Man Moogie was happy with the work I did and let me keep Giuseppe. I would not have been happy if he took him away. Anyway, I took care of my animals, gave a gift to Ran and Potpourri, and then made my donation to the Harvest Goddess. I gave a gift to Brandon, who is still surprised I know his preferences after 94 days. I also gave a gift to Jennifer. I cut some wood on my farm to clean the place up a bit, and then I accidentally gave the Harvest Goddess yet another gift.
Bruh.
I recovered a bit in the spa before cutting even more wood on the farm, getting tired, and going to bed. Day 95. Today was a short one as I couldn't go outside because it was snowing too much. I just went to bed. Day 96. Today I wanted to tackle the mine. I took care of all my animals and gave them food. I made my donation to the Harvest Goddess and then Giuseppe and I bolted through town. I went to the clinic and got into a cutscene. I ended up telling the doctor he needed to open his heart so people can understand him more. After this, I bought about $80,000 worth of performance enhancing drugs. I was gonna make it through the mines no matter what, and if I had to abuse drugs to do it, so be it. I recovered all of my energy in the hot spring before entering the Winter Lake mine. I spent such a long time here. Literally multiple hours I spent digging in the mine, going down and down and down. Digging up the dirt, breaking stones, and going down the ladder. Again and again and again. It was relentless. And it seemed like it was never gonna end. But I kept going and never gave up. After about 2 hours of repetition, I finally found it. The ladder to the next floor. I went down and I finally got my achievement for making it to the bottom. I'm just gonna say it, this was miserable. I did not enjoy this. After I broke most of the rocks, I left the mine and I would not be coming back. I picked up a power berry behind the entrance and then I made my way home and went to bed. Day 97. After my brutal experience in the mine, I now had a newfound appreciation for my simple life on the farm. I happily said good morning to all my guys and made sure to take care of them. I fed everybody, then went about my day. I made my offering to the harvest goddess and broke some rocks in the forest before resting in the spa. I made my way to town, gave a gift to Potpourri, and then bought a shit ton of food for the coop. I put it all away, then made my way to the blacksmith to commission a $20,000 yarn maker. I collected some sticks and stones in the little forest in town and then gave a gift to Dudley in the inn. When I went upstairs, I got into a cutscene with Gray. I activated my people pleaser mode and gassed him up. After the cutscene, I made my way home. I did a little bit of work around the farm, just cleaning the place up, and then went to bed. Day 98. This morning there was a birth. Lola gave birth to a baby rabbit. I named her Judy. Today was actually my in-game birthday too. Thomas was at my door complaining that my mailbox was full. When he walked away, I checked the mailbox to see what was going on, and it was full of happy birthday messages. This was so nice, man. This is more birthday messages than I get in real life. I also got given another Vans favorite from the Harvest Goddess. I could sell this for another $50K. What an awesome birthday. I took care of all my animals, gave a gift to Ran, and then made my offering to the Harvest Goddess. I picked up my preserved flour and then went into town. I got some advice for you, okay? If you're gonna ask someone out, always do it on your birthday. Then the other person looks bad if they reject you. I asked out Potpourri and she was a bit disappointed, but she said yes. Yippee! After this, I gave a gift to Cliff in the church and I gave a gift to Carter too, who taught me how to make strawberry milk. I went to see Huang to sell the Vans favorite for $50,000, and then I cut some wood in the forest, got tired, and had a rest in the spa. I broke some stones in the dark before heading home and going to bed. Day 99. Today I woke up to Gray at my door. He asked me if I liked fashion. Look at me, bro. Obviously. I said yes, he walked away, and then I took care of my animals. After I fed them, I went into the forest. I made my offering to the Harvest Goddess and gave a gift to Potpourri and Ran. While in the forest, I cut some wood and broke some stones. I made my way into town, gave a gift to Karen and Jeff, then went to the clinic and gave a gift to Allie and the doctor. After this, I went to the inn to give a gift to Dudley and then cut some wood in the little forest in town. I was pretty tired, so I had a rest and then went home and went to bed. Day 100, the final day. I got up and couldn't go outside, so I ended the day. The end. I'm just kidding, I felt kinda cheated, so I did an extra day. Day 101. Even though it was my last day, I spent the morning like any other. I said good morning to my animals and made sure everyone was fed. I made my offering to the Harvest Goddess, not even realizing it'd be the last time I'd see her. I decided I'd spend my last day saying goodbye to the people of the town. I said goodbye to Ran and bye to Potpourri. I also said my farewell to the doctor, Gotts, Brandon, and Jennifer. Giuseppe and I made our way into town, and I said my goodbyes to Old Man Moogie and the cute puppy Hannah. I said goodbye to May, goodbye to Lilia, and goodbye to Rick. I made my farewell to Manna, who started yapping as usual, and then I went inside the inn. I got into a cutscene. Ran and Dudley decided to give me a free meal. What a treat for my last day. Afterwards, I said my goodbyes to Dudley and went upstairs to say goodbye to Van. I made my way to the library and said my goodbyes to Marie. I also said bye to her parents next door. I said goodbye to Allie, you, Alan, and Thomas before going into the general store and saying my goodbyes to Karen and Jeff. I went to the church to say bye to Cliff before going to see the nature sprites. Thanks for all the free labor, suckers! I then went to the beach and said my goodbyes to Huang and Zach. I made my way out of town knowing I'd never return. I went inside my house and put on the OG fit. Outside, I said my goodbyes to Pooch, and then I went to the barn and said bye to everyone there. Tails, Zinc, Calcium, Bulldoze, Thunder, Eruption, Psybeam, Revenge. You'll be missed. I said my goodbyes to good old Giuseppe, and then I went into the coop. Bugs, Judy, Lola, Lettuce, Squash, Chickpea, and Pumpkin. I'll miss you guys. While leaving the farm, I hesitated and then continued into the forest. I kept walking alone through the night. It was all over. I was finished. I soon found myself at Mother Hill, and I walked to the edge and looked out. Thank you, Mineral Town, for everything. Goodbye. wanted to say thank you for making it to the end of the video. It means a lot, it really does. Long ass video, man, you made it to the end. Good job, big money. Do let me know if you liked the video. If you want to see more, I could do 200 days. Or I could do 100 days of something else. I will be doing more platinum videos, so if you want to see that, stick around, but yeah, thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm going now. Have a good day, okay? Bye-bye.